Shawn, I was also wondering, this may be this might be a little bit easier. There's a request control, hopefully at the top of your screen. Do you happen to see that?
I do.
Yes.
Do you want to click that and then you actually would be able to control the scrolling?
Oh. Um.
It's
If not,
okay.
it's fine.
We can give
Yeah.
it a try.
I have a hard stop at 9 o'clock if we wanted to try on another day, so it's up to you.
Yeah,
guys,
that sounds good. All right, let's get started.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Mayor Manager meeting for Wednesday, April 13th. In the room is Deputy City Clerk Jay Truscott Reed, City Clerk Stephanie Carlisle, Mayor Pro Tem Steve Ward, City Attorney Tamara Niles, and City Manager Shawn Lewis. John, I'll let you get us kicked off.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll start with the April 18th meeting, study session, 2 study session items, Citizen of the Year, and also the Paid Family Leave Insurance Act, some changes in state law, and we need to take action on that. And then moving on to resolutions and ordinances, an alternate member for Dr. Cog with Cheryl taking that on. Then acquisition of, oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I thought someone said something. Then acquisition of property for the stormwater project, 2 of those. And then onto recognition, we'll have a couple of things. One is the Elevate Inglewood graduation, and then the public hearing, I guess just one recognition. And then next public hearing of garbage and recycling. And then, oh, there's the proclamation, Small Business Week. A motion for to approve route policy research, and that is for the housing study. And then award of CFS with BSI, so Backflow Solutions, and that's in the Utilities Department. Approval of some travel for CML for 3 council members. Approval of an ordinance approving annual agreement with Arapahoe County to receive CDBG funds for E3. Consider an ordinance amending, and that was second reading, and I did not think that was unanimous. Nope, you've got that as no. Consider an ordinance for municipal for festival permit. That was unanimous. Okay. City of Sheridan vehicle maintenance. And then first reading is the WIFIA loan. And Tamara, is this the emergent? No, this is not the emergency, is it?
No, it is the emergency ordinance,
Yeah.
so that we can lock in. Of course, interest rates have gone up beyond what was the interest rate that was authorized by council. So this is an emergency ordinance to amend the ordinance that approved the WIFIA loan, so that we can lock in the interest rate now and still close on time. So this would be first reading, and second reading would be next week.
Correct. That was part of water and sewer last night.
Yes.
Right. And unfortunately on the WIFIA, I mean, this is for
That's just sewer.
the water, excuse me, the sewer. And so the water one is going to be a little bit later because we have to get clearance from the State Historic Preservation Office that is not being granted in a timely manner.
Yep.
Next, we have bill for an ordinance authorizing an IGA to increase funding for the 285 Broadway interchange. And MOU between Inglewood and Colorado Energy Office to provide energy performance contracting. An ordinance for amending section 1561 regarding growing weeds. Excuse me, I'm having a lot of drainage this morning. Repealing, the next one is repealing the medical marijuana license bond. Then authorizing agreements to relocate city ditch for the C470 project. And that's it. So Jade, do we have all of these marked, timed, and consent or not? think we do.
I believe we do.
Is there any reason why we can't have on consent? There was one that I saw. Scroll down. There, the MOU. Just because it's the
Which MOU?
that one. That one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do that every year. Yeah, that one should be. Oh, no, that's with Public Works. That's not the E3.
Okay.
But yeah, we probably, I mean, we can put that on.
I would say to put it on just because we have a very heavy agenda that night, but in
Yeah.
a public hearing, so.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
I also think that,
go ahead, Tamara.
okay, I was also going to point out, I think the council member travel to the CML conference, I don't think that's currently on consent. And I didn't know if that was something you wanted to consider.
Same. I would like to have that on consent. But Mayor Pro Tem, feel free to disagree.
No objection. I'm planning on throwing my name into the hat on that CML conference as well. So that's probably something I should talk about offline. But yeah,
No worries. We can add you to that if you're ready.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So did we say yes to those? Did you saw no disagreement with that, Mayor Pro Tem?
Correct. No objection.
Okay.
And then the only thing that isn't like, so we do have times, and then the only thing not marked on consent, either way, is the emergency ordinance, which I was assuming is not on consent. I just wanted to confirm.
Correct. We keep that off consent. There will be questions.
And then before you start going down the list, Shawn, I did also want to point out, I did receive a request early this morning for an executive session for the 25th. The 25th will already be a special meeting as we'll be approving the second reading of the emergency ordinance on the state. So I didn't have a chance to get it put in because it was brought up early this morning, but I did want to give you a heads up that that has been requested.
Great, thank you. Okay, April 25th. We have the March 2020 monthly financial report, review of preliminary capital projects list, update on the neighborhood map projects, polling on potential ballot questions. And actually, I think we'll probably just change that to discussion. Sorry about that, Tim. I think I might have misstated that. But what questions to ask? And then moving on, if there are no questions there, May 2nd, we have, any questions?
Well, should we do discussion times on that?
Oh, yes, thank you. Got discussion, we usually do 10 and 10 on the financial reports, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
And CIP.
So is the presentation 60 minutes? Oh, God.
I mean, it is going to be longer because it's.
Yeah, it
due to-
usually is a longer one, so. I'm just confirming.
Yeah. Break that up.
This
That's
is
gonna
to
be a long
include
discussion.
board and commission members, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This
Okay.
is like a joint discussion.
Wow, so would that be like a 60-minute discussion as well?
Yeah, that was my guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 60 and 60.
Yeah. And then neighborhood map project, 15-minute presentation. What do you think on those? I think they've
So-
got unanimity between council, I mean, the commission and staff.
So there is direction in this one. It says direction, so.
It is, yeah. Just in case you have different opinions on the neighborhood boundaries or names.
Okay. Okay, what do we have for 15 right now is the presentation? Would you
Mhm.
say 30 minutes on that for discussion, Steve?
So that's a safe guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I would think 30. Okay. And then the last one is polling on potential ballot questions.
Yeah, and I think the discussion, I think 10 is probably as long as it would be, but really just kind of narrowing in on the topics that we might want to do and maybe some guidance on, sales versus property. I am looking at a couple of companies that do polling. And we're actually under contract with Polco, the one that we use for the American or the community survey, is one of the companies interested. But just to do some sampling of, what voters care about most in terms of topics.
So Shawn, are we talking about whether or not we want to use polling, or are we also talking about the questions, the potential questions?
It's really more on the potential questions. And, if there's an adverse reaction to, for instance, putting it on a property tax, then we wouldn't even bother, having the polling done for property. So it's just kind of checking in with council on the types of things. There are also lots of topics within the two kind of broad categories that I've heard from council. One is potentially public safety, based on the presentation we heard a few weeks ago from police. So, should public safety include staff, equipment, dealing with homelessness? So some of that type of narrowing. And then on the street and alley, should that be streets, alleys, and, generally transportation, like matching grants for, transit or, highway projects, et cetera. So that's the type of thing that I'm needing council direction on.
All right, Shawn, I'm thinking that could be a very long discussion.
Yeah.
Steve, what are you thinking? I was thinking originally 30 minutes, but even that, I kind of think that may not be enough, but.
I think in the face of the other work we have to do that night, 30 minutes is good for that. We may have to hold that discussion over again for future consideration, but 30 is a good start, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And we have time to keep discussing that question.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
I mean, not a lot, but we do have some. All right. So May 2nd, we have the Santa Fe PEL review of recommendations, early action plan, introducing two new staff members, Brian Isham as well, who's the planning manager. Isom, sorry. And then the new library director will also be introduced, I think Tim told me. And then Public Service Week proclamation. And next, a motion for utility, sanitary sewer, camera work, renewal of 2020 concrete trip hazard elimination contract. It's the grinding for sidewalks. Equipment lease purchase through Caterpillar Financial Services for 2 backhoe loaders. And then equipment lease purchase through Komatsu Financial, and that is for another loader, an 8-wheel loader. And then a loan agreement with the Colorado Water Resources and Power Development Authority for stormwater improvements. First reading. All right, any questions there? Moving on to May 9th, we have present proposed intergovernmental, I got lost. Thank you. Present proposed IGA to create Arapahoe County region for opioid settlement funds. Update on economic development strategy, your first check-in on that project. And then Code Next project update. And we're to May 16th. Presentation on proposed administrative revisions to city charter. Professional services agreement, amendment number 1 with the AEC West for $300,000. I think, did we miss the budget amendment? But I think the budget amendment is scheduled for May. You won't actually be able to approve this contract with AEC West until you do the budget amendment. But we have projects, more than $1 million in revenue coming in from projects that we didn't know were coming in, which means we have way more costs in plan review and inspection services that AEC helps us with. That, of course, keeps us from having to hire new staff every time we have a surge in projects. Then we have the executive session as well. So Tim, when are we expecting the budget amendment to be on?
It's supposed to be May 2nd. That was the date we agreed on with finance, so I'll double check to see why they haven't put it in yet.
Okay. Next, we have May 23rd, April 2022 financial report. Then we have, want to present to council the work that Tim and Jamie Sepulco at South Platte Renew have been working on regarding mission, vision, values for the organization. And then June 6th, presentation to 2021 CAFR financial report, and then a study session, presentation on proposed revisions to the charter, and 2 proclamations on June 6th, Pride and Juneteenth. And then June 13th, board and commission interviews, and a second night if needed. Review preliminary 2023 operating and staff prioritized capital requests. June 20th, still ordinance establishing a ballot question for proposed charter revisions. That will also plug into that same meeting that any ballot question that we might put on regarding taxation. And then, June 20th, recognition of termed out board and commission members. Then the 29th, we have a placeholder for the Citizen of the Year recognition.
Okay.
All right. We've also, I think we're good on council meetings if you all are.
Yep.
We had a number of council requests from Monday night. We've got those entered. I'm now just sending them to Krista instead of making a note of them. But we've got, no, I can't put my finger on them because lots of emails to and from Krista.
Yeah, I only wrote down one, but I know that there were several. I wrote down those. And it was about.
Here we are. Provide analysis regarding the feasibility of changing the alley behind Broadway and Lincoln between Floyd and Inglewood Parkway from 2-way to 1-way. And then what percentage of residents will experience a price increase if council accepts either proposed trash single hauler proposal? I think those were the 2 that we had.
Okay. Yep, that sounds right.
Great. Anything else from staff?
I don't have anything.
Not for me.
All right, Mayor.
Anything, Steve?
All good.
All right, good on my side as well. All right, everyone, it's about 8:50. This now concludes today's mayor's manager meeting. Everyone have a great day.
You too.
All right,
Thank you
bye.
too.